Welcome and thank you for joining tonight's virtual town hall regarding Fall 2020 Return to Campus Plans. I am Coleman, your Student Government Association President for the 2020-21 academic school year, and I am proud to serve as the moderator for this event. Tonight, you'll hear from the Division of Student Affairs and other members of university leadership on topics related to university operations for this upcoming fall, and the various measures they are implementing to keep us all safe. Additionally, they will answer many of your questions that we have already received. Thank you to those who have submitted questions in advance for this event. Please keep in mind a few protocols for tonight. Video has been turned off for everyone except for the panelists. This means you will be only able to see the panelists throughout the town hall. All attendees have been muted to help the program move smoothly without interruption. For those that did not get a chance to submit questions beforehand, you will be able to submit questions during the event using the chat feature. For those on Facebook Live, please submit your questions through the commenting feature. If we are unable to get to your questions tonight, please submit them to NCCU Life at nccu.edu and we will send you a response. This evening's town hall will also be recorded and posted to NCCU Life's YouTube page to rewatch at a later time. And now, it is my pleasure to introduce the Vice Chancellor of the Division of Student Affairs, Dr. Angela Coleman.
Good evening, fellow Eagles, and thank you for joining us tonight. Today's virtual town hall is designed to share our current fall 2020 reopening plans with you. Special shout out again to those of you who submitted questions in advance of today's town hall. Your questions will guide the format for today's presentation. The goal of today's town hall is to begin to welcome our new Eagles to the nest and to help our returning Eagles acclimate to some of the campus changes that you will see this fall. Again, as President Coleman said, we encourage those who did not get a chance to submit questions beforehand to use our chat and comment features in the WebEx. Please know that while some questions cannot be answered at this time, we will continue to do our best to provide you with clear answers as well as any updates to our fall operating plans. This evening's virtual town hall is the first of several town halls to introduce our plans for reopening and our protocol to keep all members of our Eagle family safe. The health and safety of our Eagle family is and will continue to be our top priority. So before we begin, I want to take a brief moment to personally thank the many members of the NCCU faculty and staff for their hard work these past months and service on our various fall continuity of operations subcommittees. I'd also like to take an opportunity this time to welcome our panelists for this evening's town hall and thank them for joining us this evening. So this order that I'm going to introduce these panelists will be the order that they will be presenting this evening. First, we have Dr. Kristen Long-Witter, who serves as our Director of Environmental Health and Safety. Next, we have Dr. Mari Ross Alexander, who serves as the Assistant Vice Chancellor of Student Health and Wellness. Next, we have Mr. William L. Clem II, Assistant Vice Chancellor of Student Engagement and Leadership. Mrs. Joy Hartfield, our Assistant Vice Chancellor and Dean of Students. Dr. Yolanda Anderson, Interim Provost and Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs. Mr. Tim Moore, Director of Business and Auxiliary Services. And last, but of course not least, Dr. Ingrid Wicker-McCree, our Director of Athletics. So without further delay, let's begin.
Dr. Long, you're ready to go.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. So good evening, everyone. I have not had the chance to meet many of you, but I did get a chance to meet a few students before everything. And I'm looking forward to everybody coming back and staying safe and carrying on in this new world we find ourselves in. So I'm the Director of Environmental Health and Safety. And I'm going to just talk to you very briefly about some of the things that we've put in place across campus to really stay in line with the CDC guidance, as well as make sure that we're adhering to our local ordinances that we find ourselves under. So I'm going to introduce this tool, and this will be how I frame what I'm going to tell you. This is called the hierarchy of controls, and it's a tool that we use when we talk about risk and how to control that risk. And you can see that it's an inverted pyramid. So the most efficient way to control risk is at the top of the pyramid, and that's eliminating it, and that's physically staying away from whatever the risky issue is. In this case, that would be COVID. Substitution means that you replace the hazard. That is not really a feasible control that we have for this because we can't replace it with something we'd rather deal with. So we're going to talk about engineering controls, administrative controls, and then PPE. And we're going to talk about two kinds of PPE. So both community protective equipment, or CPE, which is a term you may have been hearing recently. These are things like face covering. So these are items that you wear that protect the rest of the community. And then personal protective equipment are items such as gloves that will protect you from any risk you come in contact with. So that's where we're going to start, and I'll just take you through the next slide and talk a little bit about some of the things that we have in place. Okay, so this is probably the thing you've heard the most over the last 3 months, but cover your face. North Carolina is now under a statewide face covering order, and that is also going to be in place on the NCCU campus. We will be requiring face coverings at all times in campus buildings. We do have some allowances for that in private rooms and residence halls. You will see a lot of new signage when you come back. So these are some of the signs that you're seeing over here. We have a mask awareness sign, elevator safety, and then the practicing of social distancing. We did start placing these signs today, so we're excited for everyone to see those. Don't just drop in. We have a lot of offices that have traditionally worked on a drop-in policy that we're just not going to be able to do that anymore, because we don't have the space or the personnel to keep people safe. So what we're asking is that a lot of groups move towards a policy where they require appointments, and we are still working on exactly how that's going to lay out. Washing your hands is besides wearing a face covering, washing your hands is the best thing you can do to protect yourself. We all touch many things during the day, and washing your hands as often as you can, using hand sanitizer. So we are increasing the number of hand sanitizer stations on campus. We will also have some personal hand sanitizer that will be available. And we'll be putting up signage in the restrooms and different areas to remind people that it does require a 20-second hand washing to be effective. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects and surfaces. So we are making sure that we have sufficient disinfectant supplies and personal protective equipment such as gloves for using those supplies. So we'll be able to distribute those. Now this is going to be in addition to the uptick in housekeeping that you will see. So Director Blake Reed will touch base on that, but we will have products available across campus so that you can feel comfortable and disinfect a space before your desk or whatever it is before you go into it. And then just basic hygiene, such as covering your cough or sneeze with a tissue, making sure that goes in the trash, and again, washing your hands before you touch your mask. These are just some really simple but really important things that you can do. And that's really all I have, because I wanted to save the most time for questions. So you are welcome to reach out to me. That is my office phone number. We have a general EHS at NCCU email address that we'll take any COVID questions on as well.